ahead, babe. And Wimkin's off. Damn it, Wimkin failed. Oh, sucks. All right, let's try to see if we can get this going, folks. We're rebooting everything. We're getting on. We're back on Facebook. This is labeled as part 2. We're probably going to just have to go without Wimkin. Hey, Liv, could you go on Wimkin and apologize and tell him to come on to Rumble and put the link on? Thank you. All right. We're going to wait for everyone to get back on. We are live. This is part 2. We had a power outage. It happens. Wimkin is the only one not up. We lost Wimkin, which sucks. But it is what it is. Looks like we're 5x5 on Twitter. If we could go reshare this link on Twitter, I'd appreciate it. YouTube, everything, please share. We lost pretty much everybody, and I'm hoping we can get people back. If we don't see people come back, we're going to have to miss it for a second night in a row. We really can't afford to do this, but we're not going to go with 35 people. It's just not going to happen. So let's just try to get everyone back and share this out, and hopefully we can continue. Has this happened? We've had power outages before, but
we have had them. I mean, I've had a flake here as well. So
yeah, and usually my power holds and does fairly well, but not in this case. It flicked and it was gone.
I live in an area where we share the power grid with the airport. So by law, they have to have it up within I think it's just a couple of minutes. So I'm kind of fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, and we're on a decent power node, 48 people. Yeah, oof. We were at 175. We were doing great, and that's you lose it. You got to get people back. So we're gonna let it build up a second. We can play some music and sing some songs here. Okay, flash them. Live. All right, that's enough. I think we'll be able to hopefully recoup some numbers once we start talking. We're sitting around 50 right now. Far cry from where we were at 175. We needed a super good donation night, and it's going to be tough, but we're going to do our best. So let's see. We were talking about the Karmelo Anthony case, and
that's right.
My problem is it comes down to this. It's a double standard. They went ahead. The first thing they put out his, you know, his graduation picture, and he's a 4.0 student, and he's not. In fact, his grades over the last, it doesn't like that matters. Who cares?
It doesn't.
Ted Bundy was a very successful person in schools and education, and he murdered plenty of people. It's just stupid. It comes down to this: the law states very specifically what premeditated murder looks like, and if you brought a weapon to an event and then went and instigated a fight, that's premeditation. And now the court of law has to prove that, but I don't care what color you are. You killed a man
Right.
for no reason other than he touched you. And I'm sorry, you don't get to kill someone because they touch you.
You know, half the time I think when they bring this stuff up for trial or for litigation in any way, it would be great if they just left the race or the age, just left all of that out of the actual descriptors. None of it is relevant. Like, I don't need
Right.
to know that it was a 37-year-old woman from Korea. I don't care. I just want to know who stabbed who, who started it, who brought the weapon, and what were the actions that actually happened. That's all that
Right.
really matters.
Right. That's all. I mean, but now it's going to be a racial case. And, you know, I don't think the case is going to go that fast. Capital murder case is at least going to take a year and a half. But it makes you wonder, is this going to boil over into a Summer of Love 2.0? Are we waiting for that? And honestly, it's, you know, it's not that difficult to see that that's where this is heading.
You're asking, like, is this a setup for what happened with in Baltimore with like Freddie Gray kind of thing?
Yeah,
Just because of who's in office.
I just think no, I don't think it's a setup. My point is like, is this going to be a reason? Is it the next unarmed black shooting, the one of the 13s that will happen this year, even though they say it's an epidemic, that will set off another, you know, Mike Brown / George Floyd event? Because we're on the precipice of that, and you know the left is just gearing up for any reason to riot and burn shit down.
Yep.
Is this the beginning of that, right? Is this like, okay, a black man's he's being convicted and he was self-defense. If it was a white guy pulling out a gun, it would have been and starting this crap. And is this just on the precipice of more racial fuel and logs to stoke the fire of riots?
I could absolutely see that being the case. I just hope that this is one of those cases that just goes on behind the scenes. You know, no cameras in the courtroom. Just
right.
You know,
wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? But we know what will happen. I mean, the media has to get a hold of this. Kilmer, Abrego, Garcia case. This is a big one, folks. I hate to do it, but I have to put in a donation night. These shows cost us about $150 a night. We got to make some donations. So I got to put this in here. I hate to do it. I usually only like to talk about it at the beginning of the show and at the 8:30 hour. But if we don't start turning some donations here, we're going to have to go. So here it is.
The Dumb Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big Tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time. And we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumbshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation, we appreciate you more than words can say.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Donut For Me Show. Back again. Gonna talk about this Kilmer, Abrego, Garcia case where he was shipped out of the United States, and there is a whole bunch of stuff associated with it. I mean, LEEROY, if you're not familiar with this, you will be in the next few.
I am more familiar with this one than I was with the last one. I'll say that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off telling the story from a perspective of where this comes from. First from Carolyn Levitt, and then we can talk a little bit. I've got like 4 videos, so we're going to hold comments for a minute. We're going to have to really dive into this, and then we can start talking about it. Here it is.
Still going off the El Salvador questions, yesterday in the Oval Office, administration officials made it very clear that El Salvador is responsible for Mr. Abrego Garcia, yet El Salvador's president said we're not going to do anything with him. So my question is, who is responsible for this man and where he's going to end up?
Well, no. First of all, President Bukele said that he is not going to smuggle a foreign terrorist back into the United States of America, as many in this room in the Democrat Party seemingly want.
You guys, there's a new link on Facebook and all the channels. You need to go up. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We started part 2. It says PT2. Go up to the next one. Skip the old one. That's going to be the easiest for you.
Want him to do. Abrego Garcia was a foreign terrorist. He is an MS-13 gang member. He was engaged in human trafficking. He illegally came into our country. And so deporting him back to El Salvador was always going to be the end result. There is never going to be a world in which this is an individual who's going to live a peaceful life in Maryland, because he is a foreign terrorist and an MS-13 gang member. Not only have we confirmed that, President Bukele yesterday in the Oval Office confirmed that as well. So he went back to his home country, where he will face consequences for his gang affiliation and his engagement in human trafficking. I'm not sure what is so difficult about this for everyone in the media to understand, and it's appalling, truly appalling, that there has been so much time covering this alleged human trafficker and this gang member, MS-13 gang member. It's truly striking to me.
All right. So you got your first position here.
Right.
When it comes to the media doing what the media always does. Then you've got another position, which comes from one of the senators, Chris Van Hollen, who is going to talk about this
I saw the comment.
kidnapping, is what he's saying. A kidnapping. Just a Maryland man. Just a Maryland man is what it's saying. Here it is.
Of President Bukele, and I look forward to meeting with him. I've requested to meet with him. I reached out to the ambassador here to ask to meet while he's here. But I've also made clear, if we can't meet here, I do intend to go to El Salvador to discuss the release of this individual who is illegally detained, a Maryland man who's the father of 3 in a notorious prison in El Salvador. And I believe the president of El Salvador will recognize why it's important to allow him to return.
You guys, I deleted the Facebook feed. Go refresh the page, go to the top. It's right there. I've deleted the rest. So this should take you right to the current one. You should see my video from this morning, and then an invitation to the feed, and then the actual feed itself. If you get really confused, go up to the Don't Unfriend Me show, click my avatar, and it says live on Facebook. I mean, it's really simple, folks. See right here. You click on this, it'll take you right to the live show. That's it. If you're on Twitter, it seems like Twitter people are getting this. YouTube people are getting it. We look to be good. Please reshare on Twitter.
The United States of America, because it is absolutely unjust and illegal to have this Marylander detained one more day in a notorious prison in El Salvador. Of course, President Trump could have just said, bring him home. Of course, he could have done that. But this is an administration that has lied about Mr. Abrego Garcia, right? The vice president of the United States tweeted out that he had a criminal record. That was a lie. They're just lying. They've gotten caught lying. They don't want to admit it. And they have an obligation to bring him home. But I will say the president of El Salvador should not now take it upon himself to say that he is detaining him for one more day, because that is kidnapping. I understand that the Attorney General said that we would provide a plane to bring him home. So all the president of El Salvador has to do now is hand over and release an innocent man and let him come home to his family.
All right. So here's what we know. We know that he was in, I believe, the country. Some of this is not 100%, but I'm going to give you the rough details. For almost 13 years to 15 years, he has been meeting when it comes to the legality of him staying in this country, and has had plenty of opportunities to become a citizen.
I saw the comments.
And the processes is not important here, because during one of his hearings, 2 of them, the judge and the commentator, also a detective, said, "Thank you so much, Kevster. Appreciate it."
Thank you, Kevster.
He was a part of MS-13. Here is another video which is going to really dive into some details here, and it's fairly quick. And pardon me, I want to make sure I get everything. So here it is. This is Trisha. I think her name is McCullough, and she was going off on ABC News. Here it is.
I think what really matters to Americans is that this MS-13 gang member, who unfortunately, Jay, you and a lot of your colleagues have called a Maryland man, when in reality,
I'm going to stop you there. What is your evidence,
member.
Trisha? Wait, I got to stop you there. What's your evidence that he's in MS-13?
Well, there's actually been 2 separate immigration judges, Jay, who have confirmed and ruled that he is a member of MS-13.
Well,
that, as well as we have intelligence,
it was brought up in deportation proceedings.
Jay.
But what's the evidence that was brought up in those deportation proceedings that he's in MS-13?
Appeal, Jay. I can do this all day, Jay. He is a member of MS-13. I don't think you'd want to be his neighbor, Jay. I sure wouldn't. And I don't think many Americans watching would want to be this individual's neighbor. He has been involved in human trafficking. He's been involved in labor trafficking, and he should not be in this country. So whether he's in an El Salvadorian jail or a U.S. detention facility, I am so very glad, as are millions of Americans, that he is off of U.S. streets. Because remember, Jay, who is MS-13? They maim, they rape, they kill Americans for sport, and the American people are done with it. They said so on November 5th, 2024.
All right, last one after this is Cory Booker. Of course, Spartacus is involved. Spartacus to the rescue. He's going to get on his noble white. I think he probably does. He's going to get on his noble black steed, and his noble black steed is called Onyx. He's going to.
He's like the budget Obama,
isn't he? Well, he's like an Obama that actually had one too many Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And
he gets a pass.
Right. So here is Cory Booker, where they are going to now go to El Salvador. It's amazing. Democrats want to go to the border now. Democrats actually care about illegals now. Isn't it funny how they all seem to give a shit when they allowed anywhere from 10 to 20 million of these people across our border and didn't care? But now, listen, now it's time to go to El Salvador. Can you guys just stop by Ukraine too and do a fundraising trip? Here it is.
Do you think the Trump administration is defying a court order?
It certainly appears that they are, and they're trying to play too cute with parsing words.
No.
The court has ordered the return of this person. And
No, they haven't. In fact, the Supreme Court was 9-0 unanimous that the judge's overall order was unconstitutional and incorrect. They said they had to facilitate. They did not have to go ahead and return. If the Venezuela government wants to return him and he is returned, they have to facilitate the return, which means ensure that the process takes place. And the moment he returns, he will receive the due process that they're claiming he didn't receive already, which he had already received.
Trump administration should do it. They're paying an authoritarian leader in El Salvador to hold people in the worst imaginable types of prisons that he has sent there without any due process. And this isn't just about Mr. Garcia. This is about...
Chuck, it's not Facebook's fault tonight. And we would love to have you. Unfortunately, we're not on Wimkin right now. Facebook, it was me. We had power outage here, and we couldn't get back on Wimkin, and we got every other channel up. We are back on Facebook. It was not Facebook. But we would hope that you would watch on Rumble or Wimkin or anywhere else. Preferably Wimkin is great, just not tonight because, unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Every American understanding that this president is making an assault on the due process rights that are afforded to people in our country. Everybody from Anton Scalia to other conservative think tanks have said very clearly, you cannot disappear people off American streets. We are a nation of rules, and due process is clearly one of them. And to erode the due process rights of anyone is a threat to the due process rights of everyone. This is a democratic slippage, and we all should be speaking out against it.
Oh, God, they love their freaking illegals. I mean, is he illegal? Okay, then time to go. Get out of our country. LEEROY,
Not
your
only
thoughts?
that, something that hadn't really been touched on through some of the other headlines.
I look forward.
But numerous people who were go unidentified, but numerous people had said that they testified that he was part of MS-13.
Right.
So that's where the U.S. government, got that idea. Okay, this is a gang member because two different people said that he was.
Right.
And whether or not those people were involved with MS-13 or not, thank you, Suzanne, for the $21.10. Says, hope you're able to get lots more in donations. Thank you, Suzanne. You're awesome.
So are we, Suzanne. Thank you so much for helping us out. Go ahead.
And so the whole idea here is that, you had multiple people come in and say he's a member of MS-13. He's already not here legally. He's not a citizen. So for the U.S. to look at that, take that information and say, ship him back, get him out of here. That's not wrong. Now, whether or not the media is saying, hey, wait a second. He hasn't been proven to be part of MS-13 yet, and he doesn't have any violent acts on his record. Yeah, but he's also not a citizen. So now we're really splitting hairs.
Get him out. Ready?
Get him out of here.
Ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Listen, this is so simple. It's just like the black kid who killed the white kid. He brought a knife. He instigated the situation by sitting in an area. He was at a track and field meet. It's premeditated. There we go. Done. This guy's illegal. There is no more conversation. Two judges have said that he can't stay. Goodbye. Leave. Those were the appellate judges. Here is CNN making the case. I can't believe I'm just going to leave it to CNN. This is twice in a week. I don't know what I'm going to do. But the Clinton News Network is actually coming through. Listen to this. This is great.
President Trump and President Bukele made it clear that Abrego Garcia will not be returned to the United States, despite this U.S. Supreme Court ruling saying that Trump had to facilitate his return. So are they just ignoring a U.S. Supreme Court ruling, or is the fact that the ruling was so mushy, in your words, giving him an opening?
It's a technical term I learned in law school, Jake. Mushy, look, they're working within the ambiguity that the Supreme Court justices gave them. They did not order the administration to return him to the United States. They said that they need to facilitate this return. They could have said, we order him returned, but they didn't do that. So you heard the Attorney General. She was being very careful in the Oval Office when she was asked, would you help? She says, of course we'd provide a plane, right? Thereby facilitating whatever El Salvador is doing. The Supreme Court appeared to defer to the executive branch, given that this is an international matter. And you see, yes, it does look a little bit like a semantic game, but they are playing within the bounds of what the Supreme Court ruled. So no, they are not defying this order.
And take a listen to how White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller views it.
And a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador.
Stephen, you got the win. I don't know why he had to go so far, because what he's saying is not completely accurate. No, I'm talking to Kidnapping. All right. So
what do you want to do? Send in SEAL Team 6?
Right.
You want to get the Rangers in there, take over Venezuela?
We're going to go get that MS-13 member, and we're going to bring him back here, and then we're going to set him free next to your house, I hope. Not you.
We Americans don't leave non-Americans behind, okay? Ever. We don't allow illegals to protect
our gang members.
We don't allow you to draw lines of delineation between Crips and Bloods and MS-13. We are too advanced from that on the moral high ground.
Right.
You people worry about things that aren't important, the trivial, the nonsense. We're going to focus that this is a human being who isn't an American, and damn it, we're going to bring them home.
If you were to put that picture of that guy up again,
Yeah.
right, who does not look bad, I to be perfectly honest, he looks all right, right? But you put a face tattoo on him, nobody would touch him.
Yeah. Well, listen. Here's I don't care.
I don't either.
I just don't care. I don't care. You're not an American. Get out. I don't care how long you've lived here. I don't care what you're trying to. Okay, you're trying to make this about something it's not. But he has a job and he has a family. Who gives a shit? So does everyone else. Oh, Thomas, thank God.
Thank you, Thomas.
It's been an abysmal night. Just tough night. Hope all is well. Stay safe. Thank you. Last night tonight has just been tough. Our taxes must be hard on people. 166. We're 140 away. We got to hit goal tonight, folks. We got to hit goal. Got to hit goal, whatever it takes. Come on now. I don't care. And for you to get me to relate to him, he's a Maryland man. You know what? I hate Maryland. So, that doesn't help at all.
That's fair. There was a meme that was going around earlier, and I actually, this falls right into the premise of the show, right? Several years ago, Matt let it be known how the show got started. Well, I did the same thing earlier today. A meme was going around, and it was a photo from the Venezuelan prison back in 2020. And then the print that lied above the photo says, among these supposed gang members, it's a gay makeup artist, a professional soccer player, and a father of 3 who they admit was mistakenly sent to this concentration camp, but refused to retrieve. They are kidnapping people off the street with no due process and shipping them across the world to violent foreign prison where they are deprived of adequate sanitation, clothing, blankets, food, or water.
Oh,
and so I
come on.
went So I went ahead and pointed out the fact that that photo is actually from an El Salvadorian prison in 2020 post a prisoner lockdown, and that the people, the soccer player, the gay, what was it? It was a gay makeup artist, and this father of 3 couldn't possibly have been part of that photo because those headlines didn't come around until 2024.
Right.
And that just blew their mind. Like, what? Somebody did math?
Well, of course, they'll find a way. Stop it. You're just distracting from this poor.
Right.
Listen, what's funny is I understand he's a Maryland man. Okay, fine. He's a Maryland man. But nobody seemed to care about Rachel Morin, the Maryland woman. Maryland jury on Monday found illegal immigrant Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. Why are you hyphenated, you douche plow? What, did you just get married, you homo?
I was just going to say that.
Guilty of murdering Bel Air woman Rachel Morin in August of 2023. Morin, 37-year-old mother of 5, was jogging along the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, a quaint community northeast of Baltimore, when Martinez Hernandez ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death. Prosecutors rested their case on Friday, and on Monday, the defense rested its case after less than 10 minutes before closing arguments. It was emotionally grueling. The failure here again is the immigration system once again. And nobody seemed to care about her. Now, Victor didn't have any tattoos. He had a high and tight, looked like he's a boot fresh out of the Corps. But he's a murderer. He's a killer. And he's going to jail.
What does a murderer look like? Because I've seen flowers in the attic, and it can look like anybody.
Well, they're very concerned that this isn't his first victim and that there were more. But nobody grieves for her. Nobody talks about that Maryland woman. I don't care. If you're illegal, get the fuck out of the country. I don't care. I'm done. I don't care. They tried to deport 500,000 over some Obama frickin' and Biden piece of crap legislation. And another district court is saying that that we can't do it. Listen, we either have laws or we don't. We either have laws or we don't have laws. And when you see judges throwing themselves in front of illegals who have broken the law and defend them, they, in my opinion, should be disbarred.
That's fair.
They should be derobed, disbarred, and removed from the court system and able to practice law ever again. Because you are aiding and abetting criminals. That's what you're doing. You're breaking the law and using the law to go ahead and say that you're just when you're not. You're not God. You guys are so worried about presidential powers, one man having so much power, yet one district judge has more power than the entire Constitution, the federal government, the President of the United States, Department of Justice, Department of DOD. One man. So how hypocritical is it to sit here and say we care about the power of the president, but you have more power than everybody?
Yeah, the executive branch, right, is not supposed to be in charge of viewing the laws in their own political bias, right, through that lens. They're supposed to be in charge of executing said laws that are on our books. They're not open to interpretation. That's a different branch.
Right. So listen, this is just more Democrat talking points. And here's the thing. This is just like abortion. You guys want to focus on the Jewish lesbian black girl with one leg from Somalia who happens to get raped by her third uncle's cousin's brother's roommate who has lupus. And what happens if she gets pregnant? Can she get an abortion? Yes, she can get an abortion. Absolutely, that person can. But that is the exception to the rule. Thank you for making the most morally difficult choice possible for me to go ahead and condone you murdering children. This is the same thing. Why? Hold on. Why are you one person? How about we talk about the 500,000 others that you just said can't be deported? Why don't we talk about the 10 million who got over? Why don't we talk about the 20 million? Why don't we talk about all the fentanyl? Why don't we talk about the deaths? Why don't we go ahead and talk about all the crime? Why are you talking about one Maryland man? Okay, fine. So maybe the administration got this one wrong. I don't think they did, but let's assume that they did. It doesn't negate the fact that this is your one Jewish Somalian lesbian one-legged black girl with lupus from Somalia who had sex with her father's brother's cousin's sister's roommate and got pregnant does not negate the other millions of illegals in our country that need to go. Go ahead, Leroy.
To your point, exactly your point. The left loves to focus on the 1%. This is something we covered on the show the other night. Because the left hyper focuses on the sub 1% group within their, within the population, be it trans people or billionaires or people with automatic rifles. This is how they lost, because they cannot seem to want to connect with moderate Americans. They're only in it to somehow save MS-13 members, or to Matt's point, the one-legged Somalian black
Jewish one-legged with lupus.
Like, how far down the rabbit hole do you have to go before you realize that your policies are being tailored to one person? Thank you, Deidre.
No. Just get to it, because I want to talk.
One person instead of to the masses, which is what politics is really supposed to be about. That's all I have.
No, it's fine. And Deirdre, it's interesting. First of all, you're using xenophobia completely wrong. I don't have a problem or some sort of aversion to people from other countries. No. See, sister, this is how we know you're a liberal. Is because you've misdiagnosed the problem, doctor. Thank you. Your 2-year stint in sociology at the local junior college at the Alameda Northwest State Acorn Community College, where you learned the word xenophobic, is wrong. because nothing I said had anything to do with an El Salvadorian or a Mexican or any other immigrant. It had to do with the word illegal.
That's the point.
It's interesting that you went ahead and said people from the other country, and you just did what all liberals do, which is go to the lowest common denominator so you can play the moral high ground. When I am talking about something that is the rule of the land, rule of the law, what actually makes us a country, which defines us. You don't think El Salvador has borders? What do you think they do when people try to enter their country illegally? What do you think every other country in the world does, including Canada, including Britain and Germany and Poland and Russia and China and Hong Kong and North Korea? And if you don't think it's true, why don't you go take for a leisurely stroll into across the DMZ into North Korea for me and let me know how that works out for you, Deirdre.
Right.
You were already gone before you got here. When I woke up this morning, you were gone. Why? Because you have an aversion to the truth. And that is a phobia that I can't help you with. Go ahead.
Deidre, I think the biggest problem here is that you're trying to mischaracterize the argument. When you're saying that people that we're somehow xenophobic, and yet, like, I fully support the Nigerians who move here and statistically do better than a lot of the Asian Americans who move here of their own free will, start businesses, and become part of the American fabric. They do really well financially. They have strong family roles within their families. And so nobody's disparaging them. Matt and I are literally saying, no, it's the illegals. It's the gang members. It's the people who are in charge of human trafficking, the people that are bringing fentanyl into the country. Is that who you're defending? Because that's what we're trying to stop.
It's interesting when you say, and I just want to finish my thought here, and then we're done, Deirdre, because we love it when you guys come into the thread, because it helps us just make our point so well. Nomosophobia is what you are. You're nomosophobic. I hope it feels good. You're going to have to look that one up. I know they didn't cover that in your 2-year community college. Nomosophobic. Look it up. I know they didn't cover it in your 2-year college, but let me just give you the cliff notes on what nomosophobic means. When you say transphobic, homophobic, xenophobic, whatever, you have an aversion to the law, and you're afraid of law, and that's nomosophobic. So I hope you enjoy it. There's your 10-cent word. You've now learned it. So there you are. Have a good day. I hope you come back. No, I don't. I really don't. Yeah.
We have fun, though.
Nomosophobia. Nomosofibiacic is your spelling of that word, in case you're looking. Okay, good. I think we can move on. It comes down to this. The Trump administration, can you imagine trying to do this with like 2 arms and 2 legs tied behind your back?
Right.
And that's what they're doing, is every time they take one step, Democrats, do you understand what a constitutional crisis is when district court judges are usurping the power of the federal government? These are federal laws that are designed to protect the states. We have given them this power. We have voted on these laws. We've already went through this. We have made amendments to these laws, and you guys don't want to follow them. So you hire Obama and Biden appointed judges to run roughshod and throw a monkey wrench in the system. If there's anyone who's creating a constitutional crisis, it's you. He's just following the Constitution. Come on, people.
Fair.
My God.
That's a fair statement right there, Bubba.
I just love that when they're like, I was just waiting for you to say something that I didn't like, and it only took you 3 seconds. Oh, well, you sound like my mother-in-law. Okay? Jeez. We'll be right back. Folks, oh my gosh, $166. We need to get rid of those 6s. Too many. $166.68. We have got to do something about this. We'll be right back.
The Dumb Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big Tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, You, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time, and we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumbshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation, we appreciate you more than words can say.
You can also do dichophobia, which is fear of justice, policeophobia, which is fear of police, and judiciophobia, which is fear of judges or the judiciary. I will give it to you. The phobia of the law is, and I want to make sure that I was correct because someone said, no, it's not. It's the fear of cell phones. Okay. First of all, the phobia of the law is called nomophobia, or more specifically, nomosophobia, derived from the Greek word nomos, which is law, and phobos, meaning fear. However, this term is rare and not commonly used in psychology. Like I said, is not going to be in your 2-year of sociology or psychology. There it is. Merry Christmas. Leroy, I'm going to jump to this. Dean Withers went against Jared Taylor. Do you know who Jared Taylor is?
No. I feel like I've heard that name, though.
You have. Jared Taylor is an older gentleman, very Jordan Peterson-esque. And here is my question. Did civil rights actually work? Yes, and first of all, and real quick, Amy Stancombe 100% is doing her job. We don't gang up on trolls. Just leave them alone. Let me handle them. I'll cook them. That's my job. It's like Mama brings home the steak, and you guys can take a bite before I throw it on the grill. Allow me to cook the trolls. Okay, that's my job. And I was very nice to her. So, Leroy, did civil rights actually work?
So that is not one of those questions that can easily be answered with a solid yes or no. There's a lot of nuance that's baked into that question. And for anybody who knows me, knows that I have watched and read a lot of Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell would have said no, that the Black community was doing just fine and, in fact, gaining a lot of ground. In terms of family relationships, in terms of economically, in terms of social position, they were gaining very quickly, all prior to the civil rights movement being voted in. So I don't know. Thank you, Lois Bentley, who's donated $21.10 with a blank check message there, which basically means that we're awesome. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lois. You are the best. So the point of civil rights, let's just cut it down to brass tacks. Its job was to remove systemic racism from governmental systems that put people of color in a point of I'm trying to think how I want to put this. That it put them behind the 8 ball, so to speak, and infringed upon their rights. JD Stillwell, thanks for the show. Thank you, 1333. So did civil rights eliminate systemic racism and prejudicial laws in the system? Yes or no?
Wait. Say that one more time.
Did civil rights remove the systemic racism and prejudicial laws in the state and federal government?
You know, my gut wants me to say, yes, but
of course it did.
Right.
All right. Here, let's do this. Can you think of a law that's racist or prejudicial against people of color?
Right. And that's where I was headed. Is that I think that in some places that just took longer to enact.
Of course it did. Absolutely. The South is one of them. But of course it was the Democrats who decided to go ahead and do it. It just took them 20 years to do it.
Right.
The party switch. Derpy derp. Yes, of course there's no systemic racism. Now, is there prejudice and maybe even racism in the pharmaceutical companies? Sure.
Yeah.
In our judicial system when it comes to unfair sentencing. Sure. To insurance companies. Sure. To practices with loans and lending and home ownership. Of course. But you're not talking about a systemic issue at that point. You're talking about individuals. And the point that I would say that made civil rights fail is from a legality standpoint, it was a thumbs up. But from a social perspective, it was a thumbs down. And the reason why I would say that is that from a societal standpoint, it was a thumbs down from creating big government for people of color, dependency on the government for their societal status. And it was not able to regulate free opinion, free will, and free thought because you cannot regulate thought. Therefore, civil rights was a failure. Affirmative action was a failure. Food stamps, WIC, government subsidies, certain sectional housing, the busing programs that weren't enacted took issue. Public education has failed. Public housing has failed. Unemployment has failed. So when we talk about civil rights, creating dependency from an entire socioeconomic status of a people is not successful when they're dependent on the government. And you can't stop people from being assholes. And that is the one thing that civil rights failed, is you can give people the rights, but if people follow them or not is really the question. Just like when it comes to Matthew Shepard. Did Matthew Shepard and hate crimes against gays stop all violence against homosexual and the LGBTQ community? We know it's not, because transgenders are murdered one of the highest demographics per capita.
Right.
So, of course, it didn't solve the problem. What it did was create some awareness around it, where most people who have intrinsic value and moral turpitude said, okay, I guess we have to stop killing transgender people. Most people said, this isn't right. But there still is a large element that you cannot, through legal ease, control people from doing horrible things. LEEROY, your thoughts on this, since we've kind of broken it up now?
No, I would completely agree. And I would say that from a federal standpoint, the entire purpose of the civil rights movement was, again, at a federal level, to enforce the idea that the law is supposed to be colorblind.
Right.
Now, whether or not that filters down to hiring practices, or whether or not Nike can market to a specific demographic, or whatever the case is, all of that still has to be kind of decided. But I would say largely at the federal level, yes, it has worked.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
From a systemic standpoint, yes.
Right.
Yes. But there's bars in the United States. Thank you, Joanne Lutman, because it's Tuesday. Thank God it's Tuesday. We need it. We need all we can get. We did not hit it last night, and we've got to hit it tonight. Need your help. You haven't had a chance, go to the Don't Unfriend Me Show, thedumbshow.com/donate. If you're one of those people that can't afford it, folks, it's okay. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. We have to talk about it all the time, because if we don't, people forget, and they can openly tell you we forget. But if you're struggling right now, it's hard. Don't even do it. Stop, put your credit card away, and keep it for yourself. Get your taxes paid, get your house right, get your oxygen on. Then you can help the show whenever you want, if you want. It's free. It'll always be free. But if you can help, and you're in a position that you can help, please, dumbshow.com/donate. This is it. This is it in a nutshell. Was civil rights a bad thing? No. Was the government deciding to go ahead and take civil rights and put it into 1,000 different programs, which wound up setting African Americans and minorities back? It was not a good thing. So civil rights were good in removing systemic, prejudicial, and racist laws in practice, but created welfare states, the modern day slave plantations, and essentially turn the ghettos into Democrat strongholds for voting systems that they will never fix. Because once you fix those people, the one thing they're all going to come to the conclusion is this, and it's right here, what all Republicans know. This is mine, and I don't want the government to take it. And once you make those people self-aware, they're not going to vote for your policies anymore because they know the hardships of what it's like to live under the thumb of the U.S. government. This is why Democrats will never help the inner city, why they will allow tens of thousands of black people to die every single year, because they don't care as long as they have the parents' vote and your vote when you turn 18. This is the big lie. Prove me wrong. This is Jared Taylor Q&A event. And Dean Withers, our little incel, pimple-faced, young, flatulent, childlike person like Harry Sassan, starts going after him and just gets dismantled. Listen to this question as Mr. Taylor just disassembles Johnny number 5 is definitely not alive. This is for you, Leroy. I brought this for you tonight, so listen up.
Is that we are changing, and the only people holding us back are individuals like you.
So you're saying that the people who answer those polls, they're all wrong? When the black people tell a pollster they think the racial problems will never be solved, are they wrong? Why is it that after 200 years, 400 years, we still have racial problems? The whole idea of the civil rights movement was that everybody was to be dismantling their sense of racial consciousness. We were all going to be Americans, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and that would be it. That is clearly not the place. And those 500 people out there, you've counted them, they're 500, I hope there are. Why are they there? They are there because they are so disturbed that someone might take a different point of view that they don't know. Why are they not here? They don't even have to come to know that they disagree with me because they have paid no attention to me. Yes, behind you.
Well, I just thought I'd add on there. I just thought I'd add on there real quick.
No,
ask me,
no.
Why are these issues still persisting after 500 years? How long did people think the Earth was flat? How long did we leave child marriage legal? Sometimes it does take time to overcome issues.
You're going to sit down, you're going to be respectful, or you're going to leave?
Of course, I will be the respectful. Of course, we won't ask that.
You're going to sit down and you're going to be quiet. Sir, I think we have, thank you very much. I think we have time for one more question.
I have a great question. Oh, darn it, because I could tell you what's wrong with you.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had someone back there talk about what.
I have a last question.
I believe.
Why not isolate on eye color, hair color? Why only be tribalists on the color of your skin?
Sure, because that's the basis on which prison gangs attack each other. Why not isolate on the basis of prison? No.
Tell me why undocumented migrants are 2 times less likely to commit violent crimes than you.
That is not true. I'm sorry.
It is true. PNAS.
Wait. Hey. Look, no.
Wow.
Sorry.
Are they?
Only freedom of speech for them.
No.
Want to thank Mr. Taylor for coming, and thank you all for your comments and questions.
Be honest. Stop. Thank you for what?
I beg your pardon.
Ready to go?
Okay.
I would love to debate this little turd. Leroy, why is it that white men are twice as likely to commit a crime versus an illegal immigrant? Can we dissect that?
Are you sure? Are you talking about per capita? Are we talking about the sheer number of white people that are in the country as opposed to the much smaller number of illegal immigrants that are here currently?
Well,
you want to compare the crime statistics between roughly 12 million people versus 90 million.
I'm not the one arguing with you, bro.
I know.
I know, but I'm wondering why you're cutting me off when I'm trying to answer your questions that you're throwing at me at 100 miles an hour. So did we want to have a discussion, or I'm not arguing with you?
I'm sorry.
Okay,
no,
the question is, why is it that you are more likely as a white person, twice as likely to commit a crime than an illegal immigrant?
Well, clearly because I'm racist.
But okay, so now that we've tried to answer the question in a bullish way, now we've tried to just deflect with humor. Can we just answer the question? Why do you think that is?
I don't have an answer for you.
Sure we do. Sure we have an answer, but we need to work on it together. So let's take the one thing, because this is all they have. This is the only argument they have to allowing illegals to stay, is that illegals are, white people are 2.5 times more likely to commit a crime than illegals. And it's really simple to fix this argument, and you and I can do it together and teach everybody. So let's do our magic and do it together. Okay?
All right.
So let's break it down. Does white people have anything to do with it?
Only in contrasting the crimes, because you need the number.
Correct. So no. In this case, for us to answer this question, white people and Hispanics or El Salvadorians or Chinese or Russian, it matters little, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's people who commit crime and people who don't.
Correct.
So let's establish the crime. You and I could go into the FBI database and we could go and look at homicides. We can look at rape. We can look at larceny. We can look at burglary. We can look at grand theft auto, shoplifting, jaywalking, whatever it would be, right? But does that matter? Is all crime?
Yes, by virtue of the word. Yeah.
Okay, so can we go ahead and pick a crime that universally is nuanced to white people? Can you think of a crime where it's like white people do this crime exclusively? Is there one?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I can't either. So we're going to just go ahead and say crime ? Right? Could be any of them, because white people most assuredly have committed every type of crime on the planet.
Absolutely.
So, great. So what about brown people? Can we pick a crime that all brown people are guilty of, just like white people?
No.
No, but we can assume that all brown people have committed crime. So how about yellow people, specifically Asians? Because if we're going to go with color, let's do it right.
That's going to be mostly traffic violations, but other than that, I really can't think of anything.
Driving way too slow. But here's something. What if I take away the nuance of color like I asked and say this? What crime do all illegals commit?
What crime do all illegals commit by virtue of the fact that they are here illegally?
Therefore, white people aren't 2.5 times more likely, because all illegals are criminals.
Correct.
So I wish I would get that question from Dean Withers, because I just slam dunk. Because once you take away color, thanks for doing that with me, by the way. I didn't explain it very well, and I know what you were doing. You're going to feast on it. What's up?
Going slowly. Started on the mountain.
While he's reading that. Oh, go ahead.
What is the dot? Oh, see this? Leroy will tell you, and I'll tell you too. Okay. I already know what it is. So, Leroy, we just saw this in the sky.
Oh, donuts on a rope.
Yeah. So donuts on a rope. Do you want to explain it to Olivia? And I'll tell her what you. Come here, honey. Come here.
Something really, really fast was flying. I'll wait for her to share an earphone. So when you see that is a particular pattern called donuts on a rope. We actually see it around here occasionally too. It's indicative of high speed aircraft, usually military related, or almost always military related. That is something like, a vehicle that has the potential to go hypersonic.
Only one vehicle.
Yeah, or there's another probability too. But at that altitude, solar flares is definitely a possibility, but not at that altitude. And that's not what it is. And they would not show perpendicular with the horizon. So they wouldn't be in that pattern that they are in. So you wouldn't see any elevation. What usually they drop off gradually. You would see a staggered approach. That is a supersonic, very, very fast plane that is strobing its light source and moving so incredibly fast that it's leaving remnants of its footprint in its wake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not outside of our atmosphere. If it was outside of our atmosphere, you wouldn't be able to see it, sweetie.
I don't think it was a.
Leroy, you're here. Let me get the image.
See, that's the thing. My internet here has, like, I'm looking at it on a slightly blurry screen. So the bigger, the better.
Give me the image. Where's it at? Is it in family? Where? Let me see it.
Let me try and do this.
Is that all you got? You need to take a picture of it and send it to me. There's videos. What do you mean I can't see that video?
Yeah, that's the problem.
You saw it?
Yes.
Okay, let me see it. Honey, you need to give it to me so I can put it on the show.
Send it.
I don't want to see it. I want to have it.
Leroy's shaking.
God, I
I know,
love you guys.
she keeps showing it to me. I'm like, I don't want to see it. All right, here it is.
Oh, okay. That's
no, that's not it. That's not it.
They were moved.
No, okay, we'll tell you what it is. Dude, it's pattern drones. That's all it is. It's drone.
Okay.
It's pattern drone. You can see it. The altitude is below cloud line, so it's within a couple of miles up, and it looks like pattern drone flight to me. Sorry, I thought what you were seeing was actually a hypersonic, like it looked like contrail to me, like speckled contrail.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Well, my image was fuzzier, but yeah.
No. I saw the same thing because I couldn't see it either. What we're talking about is speckled contrail. I can't go into specifics, but the way a hypersonic flight happens and the way that it leaves its contrail and its footprint is much different than a standard single line because of its speed. I can't go into any more detail than that. This is drone. This is a line of drones going by. 120% it's drones.
That's awesome.
There's no aliens. This isn't, listen to me. It's not weather balloons. It's not Starlink. Why are people saying Starlink? This is
a lot of people. Starlink train from the launch line.
No, these are drones. This is a group of people who are flying drones, and this is all it is. What are they saying online?
Starlink launch.
Starlink does happen, but
I mean, it just happened. Walked in.
What are they talking about? Starlink.
Starlink.
Hold on. Let me look up Starlink. Is a satellite internet? No. What is the Starlink phenomenon? Phenomenon refers to the appearance of a train-like line of bright lights in the night sky, often mistaken for UFOs. These are actually SpaceX Starlink satellites, a constellation of low Earth orbit satellites designed to provide high-speed internet across. No, I don't think so. I'm looking at these. Well, I don't know, dude. I'm looking at these pictures and it looks like it, but that is a much different image. That is very close to what we just saw. But why would they be so bright in the horizon? They're not flying. This is at altitude, guys. Look at this.
That's drones.
Yeah, I was like, I ash out and I was like, what the heck is this?
Look up the Starlink. Well, it's possible that this is new to me. So the Starlinks aren't in geosynchronous orbit. That's what Leroy? How can they be flying in FAA airspace? This doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they are. It wouldn't be Starlink.
No. Hold on.
I believe they're in Leo. Starlink is in Leo. Right?
Starlink tracker. Okay, hold on. Holy shit. Tracker, how to see the parade in the night sky. Fox 35, Ohio. It, swear to God, the altitude looked like drones. Here, I got a video. Let's watch it. This is so interesting. Like
Stargazers catching an amazing sight in the night sky. It's a string of Starlink satellites, but as Fox 35's Sarah Danek reports, some worry it's polluting the atmosphere.
First glance, I thought it was a shooting star. Then I thought it was a rocket.
A campfire earlier this week turned into some major entertainment near Centerville Lake.
It was like 10 out of 10 premium entertainment. I mean, what was that?
3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ignition.
What Trent, Tim, and his buddies saw were the satellites from this launch.
Flight Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from our pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center.
Elon Musk's SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket took off from Florida on May 4th, adding 60 additional Starlink internet satellites into space. More than 1,000 are already in the sky, bringing internet to remote and rural areas.
It's been a big issue for several years, and over the past year, it's really become critical.
Right now, the project is in the beta testing phase, which is $500 for the
okay
of thousands of satellites.
Here's the thing.
Well, I was wrong.
No. You were looking at the wrong. You were looking at the wrong image, and you and I thought the same thing when we first saw it. It literally looked like contrail from a hypersonic plane and the light from the sunset was reflecting and essentially not irradiating but illuminating the contrail. That's completely what it looked like. Then on second glance, it looks way too low to what they're saying. But now that I'm looking at it, look at the glow in the sky. So it's sunset. So these are actually reflecting from the troposphere. They're not in outer space, but they are in the troposphere. So they are they're not geosynchronously in orbit. They are free moving around the world. That's incredible.
That was cool.
Is this right outside our house?
It was. Flew out to Ash out to go back.
They're in low Earth orbit.
I looked up.
Yeah, lower Earth. So is it troposphere or stratosphere or ionosphere? Which one? It would be troposphere, right?
342 miles.
So it's troposphere, I think. Low Earth orbit. Here it is, so everyone can understand.
They're right on the edge of troposphere.
Yeah,
340 miles. Yep.
Exosphere. Yep. That's what I thought. So, troposphere, stratosphere. Oh no, 320. So they're higher than that. They're in the thermosphere because they're 80 to 90 kilometer. So they are. Wow, that's really high to get refraction at that, or to get light reflection at that altitude. That's incredible. That was right outside of our house. So it can't be the troposphere. Troposphere is too close.
Really, really blurry and bad quality. But you can find.
Oh, honey, good for you. That a girl? Okay, let me airdrop this to Daddy Spear. That's
not your actual.
Daddy. Accept it. Open. Save to downloads. Look at this. My daughter got a video. So
you can hear me talking.
It's okay. So first reaction was, I'm with you. The first thing I saw is I'm like, it looks like a hypersonic flight, and it looks like contrail, but not. Then closer, it definitely looked like drones. It just looked like a line of drones to me. But then, okay, well here we go.
What in all hell?
Oh, it's much higher than I thought.
Can the phone catch up on that? Okay, there's like...
So it's right there. And that's much higher. It very much, were they moving extremely fast?
Very.
Yeah, so they were moving fast. See, you guys, I can see satellites all the time. Everyone can. You can go and look up in the stars and low light pollution and see satellites. So these are not high. You can see weather balloons when the sun goes down that are sitting, 80, 90 miles up. So this isn't a shocker at all. This is the sun is still exposing these to light. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing refraction from the sun. So they're reflecting the light back to you. That's why they're glowing so much. And it's a line of satellite string. That's amazing. This is why you don't freak out in a show. This is why I'm proud of you.
Good job, kiddo.
Good job, Hayden. She knew. She found the answer. So there it is. Starlink, something I didn't know. I had no idea that that's the way that they worked. But that is and you notice how the pattern is exactly the same all over the space and everything? Well, that would make sense because they've already reached optimal speed and they are not going to decrease or increase until they have reentry. So they're going to stay the same. Brian, 2110, awesome. Isn't that neat? I mean, that's pretty cool. It did look like a hypersonic.
It did.
Or something.
But then again,
moving
it was also grainy. Yeah.
Well, when we were looking at that strain, I mean, because anyone who's
I've
seen
literally seen a similar pattern right outside my house because I've got right down the road.
We saw it in Vandenberg all the time, but you only see it at twilight or early morning hours because you need the sun in order to make them glow like that. And the regular contrail does look sporadic, but to see that is really cool. Wow. Okay, well, that's exciting. I didn't know. Starlink, huh? Yeah, it was right outside of our house. That means it's going to come back, and we can every time, depending. 2110, Patricia Good, thank you, folks. We're only $50 away. Come on, money. But that is really cool, dude. When you think about it, that means based upon overall speed and time of night, we should be able to see it again tomorrow, depending upon probably 2 minutes later or so. But it's probably see it over the horizon and a little further away. I'm looking this up, and this is incredible.
If it's in low Earth orbit, it should be 90 seconds. Yeah.
Was it 90? Did I say 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, but I was also thinking of depreciation and the extension of having more light too, because it has to happen at. So that's what I was thinking. It was be about 30 seconds in difference plus speed. But there it is.
That look so cool.
Isn't that neat? And you can see it's most assuredly, fairly high up. But that's amazing.
That is
man,
so cool.
I'm so excited. Like I'm trying to tabulate the math in my head of how much further it would be from tonight. It'd probably just be a couple of minutes. But you're right. A full revolution around the Earth would. What's the speed going on that?
What, in low Earth orbit?
Low Earth orbit. 17,000. Yeah. So 90 seconds.
Like 17,200 miles an hour, something like that.
Okay, so hold on. We might not be able to see it. So you've got 17,000 miles in low Earth orbit, but the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour. So you have to take the 1,000 miles an hour, and that's moving with the spin of the Earth. Okay, so you're going to get it. You're going to get an increase in speed there, because it's moving at a different interval than the actual the mass would be.
Unless it was in retrograde, then it would be going the opposite direction.
Right. Sorry, I want to find this out. It would take approximately 965 seconds or just over 16 minutes to complete one revolution around the Earth at 17,200 miles an hour. This calculation is based on the Earth's circumference, which is roughly 40,000 kilometers. So what I'm worried about is just the overall light.
It's like 24,500 miles, something like that. Yeah.
Right. That's incredible. Oh, it doesn't travel the same path. Really? Well, of course not. So it has to be running. It's not perpendicular to. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, so it's not running on a geosynchronous path. So this thing could be running from the south to the northern hemispheres and therefore it's not guaranteed to be in the same place every night. Oh, that makes complete sense. Right. How does anyone believe in the flat earth with this right here? I mean, this completely just fucking blows it out of the water.
That's true.
Because it would be in the same spot okay. So cool. I love this. You guys, this is where I get excited. When there's things that I don't when I don't know, I love it. I love it when I don't know something.
Part of my, I feel like I failed. Part of my job qualification is some level of orbital mechanics.
What did you fail on? Oh,
I didn't fail on that, but I feel like I failed it here.
No, you didn't. What? How? With your initial assessment from a phone this big?
Yeah.
Give me a break. Here. Let me help you people with this real quick, just so we can all feel. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. Okay. There's two different contrails here, folks. One of them is a standardized contrail that you would see from a passenger liner, and is one of you would see if something that was exceeding a certain Mach value, which I will not tell you what that speed would be. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine this first line of contrail in a sunset or sunrise setting that looks like this. And what you will get is during the right time of day and the right time of night, exactly not as it would be very sporadic, like we just saw, illuminating bursts that looks just like Starlink. And in a 2-inch phone screen, based upon his view on a computer monitor, it's a pretty good fucking guess that he's absolutely correct. Okay, so I don't think you failed. You're still going to say it was I took care of you. I got your back. No, because I agreed with you when you said it, so I immediately knew what you were talking about. And the problem is to see hypersonic flight at that altitude, at that right, with crystallization at sunset. It's a rarity. But we used to see those things come off in Point Magoo, and those were flying Mach 2, Mach 3. And you would see a solid contrail, and it would light up the entire sky. Look very similar to this from Point Magoo and Port Hueneme Naval Station. Look very similar to that.
That is cool.
But with hypersonic flight, something coming in at speeds ? You will see contrail spread out and leave little mushroom pockets, almost like bursts.
Right.
That's my point.
Well,
That's my point.
That's the population control device that the government likes to put in the air.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
kidding, folks. Those are jokes.
Those are the chemtrails. Here it is again. That is so cool.
That is cool.
That is so neat. I am so jazzed that my baby girl saw that and had the wherewithal to say, "Hey, what is that?" Wow. That's okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I geek out on that shit. Let's finish it up.
Awesome.
I know. Yeah. I don't want you down on yourself. You shouldn't.
Folks, we need about $47.70 more. If anybody's watching, if Uncle Sam gave you a little bit of a tax return this year, if you like what you're hearing, please let us know. Hit that subscribe button, donate, anything you can.
Sorry, I just found out that Shopify gave me my wrong 1099 amount in my form. And I'm like, you sons of bitches, I just paid the U.S. government my income tax, and I'm going to go after Shopify for that money. It may only be like $7 or $8, but who cares? All right, let's do this. Real ID. Have you been hearing this thing on Real ID?
Have.
Okay.
I have, specifically about the threat that someone may or may not be able to fly.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Are those sonic booms? It depends on the altitude. And I'm not going to go into specifics on anything that has to do with hypersonic flight. I'm just going to specifically say that you have to be at a certain altitude, at a certain speed, to see the effect that LEEROY and I immediately thought, well, when I heard him say it, I'm like, yep, that could very well be it. Looks like it. to see that. And I've only seen it on very rare occasions. And that's all I'll say. Okay. So, yeah, Starlink. Everyone's saying Starlink. So see, this is the hilarious thing. It's like that guy that called that one time and told me about the golf course in New Jersey that Donald Trump goes to. And he's like, well, you don't know the golf course? I'm like, no, I don't. Bedminster? He's like, everybody talks about Bedminster. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, how do you not know? For someone who sounds like they know everything, how do you not know this? And I'm like, dude, I just don't know what you're talking about. I had no idea about Starlink. I never have seen anything like it. So
I've never seen that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Starlink, folks. It's low orbit satellites that are in the thermosphere, essentially, and they are reflective on a certain time of night. They're always reflective, but the light has to be right. It has to be just dark enough for the light of the sun to illuminate them where your human eyes can see. And it's not every night, but you can see them every night on a clear sky in a low light pollution situation. You can obviously see them in a high light pollution situation, depending upon their altitude and where the sun is positioned based upon where you are at. And in this time of night, 40 minutes ago, it was light enough and we had enough altitude on the sun over the curvature of the earth that was reflecting on those satellites and allowing us to see them illuminated. That's what happened. I already got it. It's cool. We found it. We found it together. We discovered it on it together. It's cool. Okay. So Real ID, people are flipping out over this, dude. Here is the video, and then we can talk about it. First of all, do you have Real ID? I'm sure.
I do.
So do I. And I had to get mine because I had the fast lane and fast pass to get through where I didn't have to go through security. And I had to have Real ID in order to do that. And then in the state of Texas, you have to have Real ID to fly in an airport. And you have it as well. Tell us your story on Real ID and how long it took you.
So honestly, this was one of those cases about 1.5 years ago when our DMV was pushing for it. And I was listening to the lady give the spiel about it going, she's like, you're not going to be able to fly unless you have this. And here I am with no less than like 2 or 3 different military IDs in my pocket. And I'm like, I think I'll be fine. So I blew her off in the beginning. Then when I was getting ready to go out to your house, somebody had mentioned it. And I was like, I need to call up to the airport and just make sure. And they verified for me. They're like, no, if you have a military ID, you're going to be fine. However, technically you're supposed to be on orders if you're going to use that. And I'm like, oh, so after May 7th, this is going to be an issue if I don't have orders, technically. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. And it was, how much ever it was like $22, I think, here in Ohio anyway.
So Real ID took me, it was when I upped my DMV license and I had to provide I had a really easy way of doing it because I had my military ID still and I provided my birth certificate and they verify you. And it's a very simple process to make sure that you are an American citizen. You are who you say you are. Now, a lot of people are flipping out and they're saying, why do we need an extra ID? Well, when a driver's license is given to illegals, and there were actually terrorists on 9/11 who had driver's licenses, we do need some form of ID to ensure that you're an American, because how is it going to be that we're never going to get voter ID in place, but Real ID is already a federal mandate? Enforcing it is what we need to do. So Real ID is simple. On your driver's license, you're either going to have an American flag or a little star, little hologram image up in the top right-hand corner that demonstrates that you have Real ID certification. That's it. It's just stating you are an American, you live here, you are the person you say you are, and it's much easier to forge a driver's license than a Real ID. Here's the video, and then we'll talk about it. And then we got to hit goal, and we got to go. So if you're out there, please, this is exactly where we were last night with goal, and we didn't hit it. So come on, people now. Smile on your brother.
Here's what you need, administration. Here's what you need to know about the May 7th Real ID deadline. Come that date, any American 18 or up will have to have a Real ID to board a domestic flight or carry another acceptable form of ID like a passport or military ID. And the TSA is warning, if you come to the airport unprepared, you may face additional screenings or outright denial. Now DMVs across the country are extending hours, adding staff, or even opening on Saturdays as people scramble to get this done.
The lines are crazy. No one has the right documentation. I had to go downstairs to FedEx to go get the rest of the stuff, which I wasn't aware of. Now I got to wait online again.
DHS says the change will empower states to crack down on illegal immigration and ensure election integrity. And the TSA tells us national security is a high priority for the Trump administration.
So everyone's flipping out. Oh my God, they're going to get my information. They already have it. Just relax, people. It's hard. It's not that hard. Unless you're black, because I've heard that Democrats say that black people can't get ID because it's really hard for them. So this is what it looks like. It's real simple. That gold star up at the top. Everyone's like, gold star, they're going to throw us in concentration camps like the Jews. You fucking
Jewish
people need
star
to get,
David on my driver's license.
you people need to get some fucking air. I mean, seriously, some serious air. Like, or hold your breath for 20 minutes. And if that doesn't work, wait longer. Enough. I don't care about real ID. I've already got it. For military people, this is like breathing. We're like, we have to go get a new ID. Okay.
Great.
We got to do, there's some new travel reg. Okay. This is not difficult. Your thoughts on this, dude?
Honestly, this is just one of those things where they've given the state, whatever state you live in, they've given you plenty of time to prepare. They've given you fair warning. So something that you're going to want to do is go and get your damn real ID. Take whatever statements you need to, your bank statements, a bill that has your address on it, with your birth certificate, social security card, get up to your office, get your real ID.
And as far as cost, it's negligible. It's just like a normal ID, and they have you do it. They've given you like 4 years to do this, 5 years to fuck. I did this in Texas 7 years ago. Enough. Stop complaining. Just do it. Not everything is a Big Brother conspiracy to get you. And come on, Michael Whitmer, happy anniversary, April 15th. God bless you. Also, Evelyn's birthday. Happy birthday on tax day. Ugh, poor lady. We love you. Appreciate you. Happy birthday. Listen, you guys are the best people in the world. It's so exciting to hear all these things. I love to hear about your anniversaries and your birthdays and everything else. We'll be right back. I've got some good stuff. Can you hang? Are you okay? Do we got to go?
Yeah. No, I'm good, brother.
All right, we're in overtime, folks. We're 253.31. We are stagnant. We are stalwarted. We are shut down. We are in lockdown mode. Please.
The Dumb Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big Tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled out funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time. And we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumbshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation, we appreciate you more than words can say.
Yeah, I mean, Real ID is ultimately going to be, it's just an enhanced driver's license / identification that proves that you are.
Measure.
It's just, and honestly, it's going to make it easier just to get certified. You see the star, get the hell through. I don't care. I don't care. If it means that I don't have to have my dick grabbed by the TSA agent unless she's hot, then I'm good. Really, I'm good. I sometimes have Olivia dress up in a TSA agent uniform. I'm not going to lie.
But don't be mad at me.
I went through the airport the other day, and I was in a good mood, and I was just having fun. And they called me over, and it was this nice, very nice black gentleman who was like, all right, go ahead and do the thing. And I stepped through, and he's like, yeah, there's something wrong going. You got a belt. You have a belt on. I'm like, yeah. He's like, belt buckle? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, I gotta, I'm like, all right, go ahead. Right. And he's feeling me up. And I'm like, you feel that muscle tone? And he just started dying laughing. And he's just like, go, just go.
Just go. So you're gonna kiss me first? Okay. I'm like, serious. I am not kidding. I went through TSA one time and they had me pick up my phone. They had me pick up my belt and my keys, carry that, and then they carry the boxes of my stuff, right? Of my pants and my briefcase and my shoes. I am not kidding. I had my alarm set, and this was like in the days when you took your music and you put on, a song.
Yeah.
And I was nodding off in the airport, and I don't like to fall asleep because I don't want to miss it. So I was outside the airport, and I was just sitting out front at the sky cap, just getting some air because I wanted to smoke until the plane goes. Because sometimes you're on there 3 hours, you don't have a cigarette, and this is when I was a smoker.
Right.
And the TSA guy had my phone, and everything, and I had set my alarm, and I just forgot about it. And anyway, so this guy's patting me down, and right when he's just right up against my nutsack, right, he's just up the thigh on both sides, and he's just slightly brushing it. You're just like,
yeah,
dude. My alarm goes off, and it's like, oh, Mandy, when you kiss me, it stops me from shaking. And I just look down, and I look at this guy, this TSA guy looks at me. Our eyes locked for a moment. I'm like, higher. So kind of funny. It was definitely a good moment. Anyway, listen, Bill Maher went to dinner with Donald Trump, and we watched it. Well, until we got copyright struck. And I was very positive about Bill Maher and said that's really big of him and big of Donald Trump to sit down. And although I didn't sing his praises of his policies or anything else, Tyrus, who I love.
Yeah,
I do. I love this man. He is honest. He is direct. He is funny as shit. And I have to respect his opinion here because this is the other side of the argument. So LEEROY and I are probably going to be like, good on Bill Maher, but here is Tyrus who's saying, no, we're not okay with this. And this
I
is
haven't heard this.
Oh, this is good. 253.31, folks. We're $47 away. We're one nice person's donation away from hitting our 300. We missed it last night. We don't want to miss tonight. So plus we're in overtime. So help us out.
Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. This is like someone who talked about black people his whole life and then had dinner with one and said, actually, after I had dinner with them, they're not that bad, guys. No, you don't get to do that, you coward. You went on a show and you tried to play both sides of the street.
That's right.
Why? So maybe he could do your show because the 300,000 people that watch it, if we had those numbers here, I wouldn't be here. These dudes make me laugh. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. You said things about President Trump nonstop. You had no reference point. That's all you proved to me. You sit down with a man, you break bread with a man, then you come and say, well, on this night, he was okay, but don't be mad at me. Splitting hairs. Man up. I don't know what this whole thing, everyone keeps acting like they need Bill Maher. The little guy who doesn't lift weights, 99% of the internet, what, MySpace? Come on, this dude represents nobody. A PR stunt for who? I'm sorry, I missed the Oval Office Rose Garden meeting where President Trump was talking about Bill Maher was there.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
He's talking about it. President's not talking about it. He doesn't need Bill Maher. He's got 70% of the country cheering him on. He walked into UFC. The place was crazy.
Then why did he accept dinner with him if he didn't?
Because he's like everybody else.
No, why did Trump?
Because that's who Trump is. He will break bread with anyone. He will sit with Kim Jong-un and break bread. So little punk-ass Bill Maher coming to the house. He was sitting in the seat. And what did Trump did? He was gracious. He treated him. Everything that he had to leave and come back and go, he wasn't any of the things I said because you were part of the machine. You were part of the thing. He wasn't as bad as Joe and Micah was where he's sharp as a tack, but he led the charge. He continued to say things that weren't true. He supported things without ever bothering to say, hey, you know what? I want to sit down. When I have a problem with someone, if I had a problem with Johnny and me and him had a problem, I'd be like, we need to sit down and talk before I would go out on social media and talk. about him, but he needs President Trump.
And I'd say, let
he
me have
needs
a
the
weapon
audience.
first.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know. But at this point, to coin one of the greatest, funniest phrases in all of comedy, I would ask Bill Maher to step in my office, and he would say, "Why? Because he's fired."
Wow.
I don't think I've ever done this on a show before. I am going to take a full reversal and say I'll take what that guy had. I happen, and I love Bill Maher, and I love Bill Maher because he's nothing that I agree with, and I still find him to be interesting, and that's a rarity. But I have to agree after reflecting on this, and I am going to eat crow, and I'm going to back up. Thank you, Mike, for becoming a Dumb Nation subscriber. I happen to agree with everything he said because you can do both. I can say, I'm glad Bill Maher finally did something and went and talked to the President of the United States, but I also consider him to be a giant pussy for talking trash about this man for 10 years, and now it's actually going better than you thought it was, and things are looking like, oh my God, this guy's doing things I agree with, because he does agree a lot with Donald Trump, maybe not openly, that Tyrus killed it. Like, Tyrus crushed it. Like, I feel ashamed that I didn't have that take because it's such a good take, in my opinion. Leroy, what do you think?
No, here's the thing. I absolutely 100% agree with both of them. And you can do that, right? People are complicated. You can agree with both points of view simultaneously. Now, that seems wild, but I can respect Bill Maher for looking to his left-leaning audience and say, folks, I had dinner with him and he wasn't that bad, because at that point, you know that he is going to take a fair amount of heat from his constituents. His audience is going to look at him and say, you're just turning coat. You're just as bad now, right? Yeah. And they will turn on him because that's what the left does. Now, I can see that to say, I can have a little bit of respect for Bill Maher on that point. Then I can look at Tyree and go, that was awesome. Because he's spot on right. He's not wrong in any way, shape, or form. You can do both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I hate to be like middle of the road like that, because it's true. I feel the same way. Like, people are saying, Matt, do you think Bill Maher did it for clout? No. Bill Maher makes $20 million a year. He doesn't need anybody. He is one of the longest standing shows. He has survived in a political culture without being correct, politically correct, and survived and really grown into at least one of the most stable voices on the left that isn't so far crazy left. I mean, the guy's free speech. He doesn't believe in the woke bullshit. I'm not going to borrow. Yeah. Amy's like, well, Fox borrows your take, so it's okay to borrow theirs. I'm not, because it's such, I just had to give Tyrus the respect he deserves, because I think it's a fantastic take. It's one that I didn't think of, and he's right. They're both right. No, I don't think Bill Maher did this for clout. Bill Maher has more than 300,000 people watching his show. Bill Maher makes a lot of money for what he does. He does it well. If HBO doesn't last, he's got a great podcast that does very, very well. I don't listen to Bill Maher to agree with him. I listen to Bill Maher to get a somewhat sensible take on things I disagree with. And you know what? I've done it for 30 years with him, and I'm not going to change, but he's right. He's right. He was a pussy for a long time.
I can wrap this up for you and make it make sense. The further left you go in the political spectrum, you're going to be more susceptible. You have to buy into groupthink, right? That if this person says one thing, right, then the complete opposite is true for the other end of the spectrum, right? And these are the groups. Thank you so much, Carla.
This is a new one. It's a new one. Carla Sanchi. This has to be a new donation. So, Carla, I got to take this one. Carla, thank you so much. I have never seen your name before. I'm going to steal this one, $50. Thank you so much for having us hit goal. It's not like we're so desperate. Usually we hit goal really easily. It's just been tough the last couple nights. It's tax time, spring break. Thank you, Carla. You are amazing. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, the further left you go on the political spectrum, you have to think the way that group thinks. The further right you go on the political spectrum, you're allowed to think individually, and that's what we're seeing here is two people. Granted, Bill isn't necessarily on the right, but I think he's more right than most people would give him credit for.
Always. I've always said that.
And the fact that you can have
Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. She is smiling. If Bobby is smiling, I am smiling. And
congratulations.
And we're to leave off on that. So again, if the farther you live on the right, you can have those independent thoughts. You can agree with people. You can disagree with people. Just don't unfriend them.
That's right. Simple. I mean, we got the tagline in. I would love to have Tyrus on the show. I think he's a great guy. He's so honest. Thank you, Kevster, for donating. Here's a video. I wanted to show this, and we're going to finish out. We're going to finish this show. We're going to cover this mega churches thing, and then I'm going to do Whitmer, and then we're going to get out of here. Here is a compilation of mega church pastors riding roller coasters in church. I am so done with these people. Seriously.
Wow!
God.
Sorry.
What a ride! I've never been on a roller coaster like this before.
Looks like evil eyes on the front of the cars.
Yeah.
How fun is that? It's not every Sunday you get to see that.
Is there a height requirement on that one?
I don't know. If you're having fun on that, then your life is boring. You need to spend more time with Satan. Because you're just... Sorry, it's a joke. Don't even get mad at me. It's just jokes.
That was amazing. Was that?
Whoa, dude. Like that second turn was so balls to the wall.
Woo!
Yeah.
Just totally like Dean, whatever his name was. Woo!
Yeah.
Man, who doesn't love a great roller coaster, right? Incredible, right?
Your wife does when I plowed her last night. Come on. Seriously, can these mega church people just, okay. If you saw me running around with a Bentley and there's photos of me and I've got Gucci, on and my hair is frosted tips with my Rolex and I'm sitting here going, we just need another $50, folks, and we're going to hit goal. You could sit there and go, dude, you're a douchebag. And these guys are taking in $40, $50, $100,000 every Sunday. And they all are owned by the same area. This is a monopoly. These people don't have a connection to God that you don't possess. Why on earth do you give them your money? Somebody explain it to me. Somebody tell me. I'm confused. Michael, if you're trying to donate, just go to thedumbshow.com/donate. And then you will click on either PayPal or Venmo, and then you can donate there. You select a number you want to do, put in a number you want to do, and then that's it. Okay? You can do that. I love you, buddy. How was your trampoline park, bub?
Fun.
Good. Get out of here, you hippie. You need a haircut. Seriously, LEEROY, the fact that people believe that they need some conduit to God, you need the Bible, you need your heart and soul, you need humility, and you need deference. And as long as you have those things, you will be successful. Go give your money to a veteran charity. Go give your money to the Dumb Friends League. Go give your money, give it to a neighbor who's struggling. Don't give it to these churches, for gosh sakes.
Right. Literally what they had done was taken to donations from the prior weeks and bought a roller coaster with it. And then told you that because you made that contribution and they were able to buy said roller coaster, that's going to help you get into heaven. because they have this roller coaster. Doesn't that just make sense? No, it doesn't. And if it does, I'm going to slap you. Stop giving your money to those snake oil salesmen.
That's right.
Right?
Gary Sinise Foundation, Tunnels to Towers. These are great organizations. Green Beret Foundation, Purple Heart Foundation, Hiring Our Heroes. These are fantastic organizations. Don't give your money to me. If you want, we give 10% of everything we do on this show to Travis Manion every single year. After tax time, we're going to give our money to Travis Manion, and they're going to have a hell of a year next year. Like, this will be the biggest check we've ever given Travis Manion Foundation. And I don't sit there and hold up a giant check and go, give me more money so we can get. There's people who are doing this because we don't have a contract, and this is how we survive and broadcast to you every night and do this and provide you the Don't Unfriend Me show. If you think that that's a value, we ask for a donation. We are never going to buy a roller coaster. In fact, it's going to take a fundraiser. No matter
how much I want one.
Yeah, and I want one too. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to get a studio. And we could take that money and go and buy a new car. We're like, no, we're going to put it back into the show. But like I said, if you see me buying a freaking thank you, Paul. Payday tomorrow.
Payday tomorrow.
Paul. If you see me buying a new one of these and it's solid gold and on the side of it says Pimp Daddy, thanks for the bling, yo. And then I come up and say, guys, I got to raise my prices to $1,000 a night. You can tell me to go to hell. Mystery guest hint. You can guess all the mystery hints you want. That's what Debbie said. Mystery guess hint. Sure, guess. We don't mind.
That's not the person's name, though. It's not mystery.
Yeah, and it's not guess. But you can guess. You can guess the hint. Sure. Yeah, I don't. If my wife has cancer, and in order for you to prey on me, you need me to give you $1,000. You're a piece of shit. Because I'll tell you what, we pray all the time, and we don't have any. You have the same conduit that we do. These people are not your friends. They don't care about you, whatever. And you know what? This show, we have our ups and downs. Sometimes I get screw it. What are we talking about? I get too hot and I get frustrated and I tee off on somebody. But you know what? I'll be the first person to call someone if they're sick, or we'll reach out and we'll try to help. There's a very big difference between these mega churches. They don't need a roller coaster because that is all a prop that they share. And they go around the country and they go to all these mega churches and they buy and rent this roller coaster to do a themed presentation to you. And it's literally like selling you a timeshare. And they tell you that you have a space in heaven if you give money. And the more you give, the faster you go to heaven. No, it's a lie. It's bull
same
crap.
thing with Scientology, who are doing the same thing. They were trying to get people to buy the next big program, and then you have to go and hold the tin cups and basically say, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, Debbie says,
the more you give, the faster you get there.
Faster you get to heaven. Debbie said, "You said Gary Sinise. Was that a hint?" No, Gary Sinise isn't a hint. He's an actor, a musician, and he runs one of the largest 501c3s in America. He's Lieutenant Dan on Forrest Gump. If you haven't seen him, you should look him up. He's really good. But he's not a hint. I don't know what a hint is. Is that a racial slur or something? Hey, dude, you're a hint. I'm a hint. What is that, like a Hindu and an Indian? You're a hint? I don't get it. Colin Noir? No, I don't wear it. I wore it in the 80s, but I liked Obsession for Men over Drakkar Noir. So I don't know. I don't know Cologne Noir what that is. What's Cologne Noir? Is that a new type?
He smelled good, right?
Is it a new type of Drakkar? Is it black like the other one? Yeah.
I don't know. Is he? That should make sense.
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Or bigger.
Yeah, Cologne Noir. I don't know, but I liked Obsession for Men. CK1 was nice. CK1 was nice.
Colion he's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so whatever. Gretchen Whitmer is here, and if you guys remember, she was in the Oval Office. And did you see this? She put folders in front of her face in the news media so they wouldn't take a picture of her. Oh, you didn't see this? So she was in there with Trump, and she was asking for this, this type of carp that was in the lakes, in Michigan lakes, that were eating all the natural habitat. So they're asking for money to eradicate it. so she was in there and she was so embarrassed and didn't want to be seen with Trump and working with Trump. Then she got on camera and she had to say something nice about Trump, and you thought she was going to die. Here it is, dude. The camera, there she is.
Oh my God.
And she was so afraid. So her video was actually really good. And she's like, Trump's like, thank you. We're going to work together. And here it is. I've got it right here from Fox. And I showed it the other night, but I'm going to show it here again. It's coming on. Hold on. Got to switch windows. Got to do it fast. Got to do it fast. Big Lee. There's going to be a commercial, so we're going to mute this. 30 seconds? Are you fucking kidding me? Come on. All right, so here's, I'll find it right here. This is great, dude. And this is our last topic, and then we got to go. Trump, Whitmer. Okay. Come on. So there's her binders, right? And then there she is again. And it doesn't matter. Trump was like I'm really. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I get so excited. Sorry.
Of the other lakes yet? Because you would think it would be pretty easy because they're all sort of connected.
It's why we're working so hard to make sure that, we work with the Army Corps and erect a barrier so that the Asian carp can't.
Amy says a colon is a Second Amendment advocate and instructor. That's weird. I didn't think colon has an independent thought process. Why would a colon be a Second Amendment? I know Colin Noor is a Second Amendment.
It's just a shitty observation, I think.
Yeah, I just think it's. I don't know, man. I don't think you put the finger on that one. So, pretty sure.
I love the flag she's standing in front of. Oh so
yeah, good. U.S. Navy baby. Mitch Rapp is not alive. Sorry. Here's the rest.
Get into Lake Michigan. It'll devastate the ecosystem, the economy, tourism, and it's 20% of the world's fresh water is in the Great Lakes, Mr. President, which is why it's so important that as a nation we protect.
Somebody says Tom McDonald had a farm, EIEIO. What's wrong with you people? Just watch Whitmer. What are you talking about?
The pristine waters. Yep.
And, all of a sudden, I assume the lakes are all interconnected, right? Yeah. So at some point, they're going to be in the other lakes. And so we're going to work hard on that. I spoke with...
All right. So Amy Stanko says, it's a typo. Geez. Yeah. And it's a reoccurring theme of me pretending that I don't know what you guys are talking about and playing dumb. So don't take it personal. Come on now. Pick up what I'm putting down. So that is that. And then this is this. This is her trying to put the caca, the proverbial caca, back in the horse. And here is that video now. And she's letting her gray hair come in because I'll tell you what, man, I think she has some stress.
It's not a bad looking woman.
Oh no, I think Gretchen Whitmer's smoking. Yeah, she's not an ugly woman. She's just nuts. She's like AOC. Like if there could be like an AOC and Whitmer sandwich, I would take a bite just once they talk. It's horrible.
Yeah. We had a horrendous ice storm in northern Michigan. If you get a 1/4 inch of ice, it is a catastrophe. We had 1.5 inches of ice in some places. Like it snapped.
Colleen-nor. Oh, like Calgon Take Me Away? Colleen-nor? Colon-nor.
Cole-eon.
Cole-eon.
Yeah. Oh, Cole-leon.
Cole-leon-nor. Oh.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, so it's not Colleen-nor? Because, are we wrong? Okay, here we go.
Utility poles in half, 3,500 utility poles snapped in half. You and I are talking, it's about 15 days since the first ice storm happened, and then like 4 days into it, another one came through. 15 days in, we still have 5,500 people that don't have power. I mean, that's how serious it is and how scary. And so, I went up and toured the area, and I decided just, last week I called the president and said, I'm going to need some help, and I want to come in and tell you about this. By the way, I also wanted to talk about tariffs and Air National Guard base, but he said, okay, come on over. So I went to D.C. this past week to go meet with the president about this, and they brought me in, not into a meeting, a one-on-one meeting, which is what I thought I was going for, but into a press conference that was about a bunch of stuff that I don't agree with. And I was kind of, what do? Do you make a scene? Well, that doesn't help the people of Michigan. Do you walk out? That
Mary says noir. Noir. So Guar? Like the band Guar? Guar? I don't understand.
She's got
Noir
Noir there.
Wait a second.
I'm not sure how I want to.
I don't understand. N-war. Is that like the N-word? N-word, but it starts a war right when you say it?
Don't tell it to him.
I'm gonna tell old Colleen Noir that you guys are being racist. Listen, if you people don't understand you're being trolled, why are you buying? Stop asking. We're not gonna tell you. You're not gonna get shit out of us.
Why does Colleen Noir only buy black guns?
Dude, how do you guys... I've met the man 3 times at SHOT Show. You don't think I fucking know who he is? Come on, people. Oh, my gosh. I'm trolling you because I'm not going to tell you who's coming on. Come on, people. How do you think I don't know? Mary, good girl. She goes, it's French. That a girl. Come on, people. We're trolling you. We're messing with you. We're playing Colin North. That's right. Colin North. He's don't you understand? He's a love child of Kanye. No. Who was married to come on, the Kardashian chick.
Oh.
It was Kanye, right?
Yeah. Did he know?
Yeah, they named it. No, it's Kanye. So they named him Northwest, their child. So yeah, so Colin North is the love child of Kanye. All right, let's finish the rest of this.
doesn't help the people of Michigan. So I stood there. I walked out briefly to talk to my staff person and walked back in and then had my meeting. But I've gotten a lot of heat for it. But I had to ask for help for the people of Michigan. And public service, the way I was taught public service from both my parents is you take an oath to put the people's interests above your own. And so while maybe I'm going to pay a price for that, I was doing the right thing for Michigan.
Okay, so this is like the housewife who fucks the neighbor and goes, I had to do it for my kids. I was so unhappy. And I just wasn't good at baking cakes anymore. And my husband wasn't fulfilling me. And I needed to find answers. She's like the one who pulls the sheets over her head when the frickin' maid walks in because she's embarrassed that she's stooping the next door neighbor. Dude, if you were there for the people of Michigan, then you wouldn't have been ashamed. You wouldn't have tried to hide yourself behind blue folders. What did you think people were going to say? I have no idea who that is. She's invisible. Where in the world is Gretchen San Diego? Leroy, help me out here.
The base that she's talking about was Selfridge Air Force Base.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't give a shit how much hail fell. I don't care what the hell happens within your state, right? And she kind of she admitted to it right off the bat. She's like, look, I had to put my personal feelings aside and do the right thing for the state. Great. But you didn't have to say that in video because that should always be your first thought. That should be your first action, each and every action when you are
as opposed to what? As opposed to what? Right.
Like, oh, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go ahead and put my own personal feelings because I really don't like Trump, but I'm going to go meet with him. Look, bitch, just go do it. Just go do it, right? Do your job.
It's colon shit. Hard. It's colon shits. I just know it. God.
Oh, man.
Oh, but we need to get to the 16th. People are going to explode. They can't handle it. They have to know.
No.
They're just like, they have to know. Listen, Gretchen Whitmer, it would have been so cool if you just would have said, listen, Gavin Newsom worked with him during COVID. Cuomo worked with him during COVID. Occasionally, you have to work with people you don't like. And this is why the Democrat Party and myself will be the leaders in 2026 and 2028 that you can count on, is that we will work across the aisle. Whatever, you could have made it a political, but hiding behind blue folders, I mean, that is literally like a high school girl whose dad walks in with a boyfriend and she's like, ah, he knows who you are. You're in the bedroom in his house. You're caught already. And you sitting there trying to hide. It's like when you walk it, you call in sick to work. And then you see your boss at the grocery store and you're on aisle 3 and he's on aisle 3 and you both turn up the same aisle and he sees you and you're like, ah, and you turn around and run the other way. It's like, dude, you got caught.
Right. Busted.
Own it, you child. All right, take us out. 1 minute. Go, Leroy.
Oh, just what a fun show. There was first of all, power outages be damned, but we covered, there's been so much in the news. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Matt and I have very little time ahead of the show to kind of coordinate. And I always write down my own damn set of headlines that I always tend to go through. The first thing I was going to say was, don't forget today's Happy Tax Day. We were going to mention trade wars at 170%. Trump just signed a bill to increase the size of the Navy to a 381 size ship fleet. The 88th Squadron commander at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base went to he broke the UCMJ because he was banging somebody that he should have been banging.
Caldwell got escorted out of his office today, who worked for Pete Hegseth and for leaking classified information, and he's in a world of shit.
Can't do that, folks. And then finally, the last thing that I had written down was the Chinese yuan hit the lowest point since 2007 at 7.31. So again, Matt and I have very little time ahead of time to kind of coordinate a lot of our headlines. And so a lot of times I'm just along for the ride, but we tend to, we've worked this chemistry out where we can bounce back and forth.
Let's start. Hey! Before you make your point, let's start doing that. Why don't we start? You bring in some topics and I'll bring in some topics because I like this. That when we move it at 100 miles an hour, it's so much better than slow rolling the show. So how about we start doing that? Okay, good.
I can do that. And then last thing I would say is a big thank you to Still Point and a bigger thank you to Wimkin. So thank you guys. You're awesome.
Wimkin, the new hats. Jason, I'm like, hey, did you get my emails? He's like, no. I'm like, dude, I've got like this whole plan that we're ordering clothes and we're trying to help Wimkin out. So anyway, listen, my 1 minute's going to be simple. Leroy, I always appreciate you, man. It's 3 hours for you to sit here for that long and still be motivated and energized. I appreciate it. I would have loved to see Trump do one thing. When Gretchen Whitmer was up there and she's like, oh, Mr. President, I didn't expect this. I really am not here for this. I came in here. I came in. No, not grab her by the pussy, but close. I didn't really expect this, sir. And he says, that's funny. That's not what you said in the Lincoln bedroom 5 minutes ago. Dude, I just want to be like Trump with a freaking takedown city. Folks, we'll be here tomorrow. It'll be myself, Olivia, and Amy for Wednesday night. Thursday, Leroy will be back. Friday, it'll be myself. We've got T.S. Dixon coming on the show. T.S. Dixon wrote the book, The Woke Mind Viruses. Someone who will be coming on, very successful author. Excited to see this. We also have a big 501c3 contributor. That's going to be next Monday. I'm reading the book this weekend, probably Sunday night, and I'm going to power through it. It's
Woke Mind
Viruses. Yeah, it's 400 pages. I'll finish it in 3 hours. So I'm going to read that. And then
come on today.
Love to have you. I've got another copy here. And I can always throw you a digital. And also we've got an actress who runs a 501c3. I'm not going to mention her name. I want to kind of surprise you on that. Remember, May 16th, we have the big fundraiser show. It's going to be a great night. For everyone who took anything seriously tonight, we're just breaking balls and having fun. We're not going to tell you who the special guest is. Do you understand how hard it was for me to get this person to be here? There is no way in the 7 lower rings of hell that I am going to let it slip, or even if I do, I'm not going to confirm it to you. You are going to be surprised. You're going to have a blast. We're going to have a night. Damani Felder's going to be there. Ryan Samuel's going to be there. All the Don't Unfriend Me cast is going to be there. We're working on getting Jason Shepard in there early. Barry Morgenstein's going to be here. We have a couple more guests. It's going to be a great night. So do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. We love you. Appreciate you. Thanks for being on tonight. Leroy, we'll see you on Thursday. And go have a good night. See you, everybody.
You have a good night.
Peace. See you, buddy. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output. This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.